What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? It's your man Luke 1817, right here on WPMM Radio. This is another episode of Luke's Perspective. Everybody, just take a couple seconds. We're gonna allow people to come on in, and then we're gonna take off and get started. Tonight we were supposed to have a panel. We had a few people have a change of schedule or cancellation of plans, so we're gonna pick that panel up for next week. So if you're tuning in for the panel, that won't be tonight. That'll be next week. Otherwise, just stick around, and we'll get back to it in a second. Okay, we are back. I hope everybody's having a okay Monday so far. Um, Trying to get back to work for a lot of people. You know what I'm saying? So I do sympathize with you, but we're gonna continue forward. We first want to give an honest to Spirit for allowing us to meet again and exchange ideas, exchange perspectives, um, under the guidance of higher frequencies and under the acknowledgement that those frequencies exist. We give thanks. Okay, so who's really in the mirror? Very interesting. Let's see. As you know, last time we were speaking from these books here. Well, I have three of them. Common Law. And I was speaking to y'all from the Common Law Handbook for Jurors, Sheriffs, Bailiffs, and Justices. So we're going to get back to that in just a second here. But the title of tonight's conversation is based on mirrors and who's really in the mirror. When you go to look at yourself or view yourself and how you expect your physical being to appear to you, who's really in the mirror, okay? So, of course, we're going to start with a definition. You already know how I do. You know how I get down. We're going to deal with definitions, and then we're going to go into conceptual understanding about this reality that we call mirrors and how this affects our life even where we're not looking directly into one, because perspective is always important, and subtle changes to perspective can give a totally different meaning to something that we take as mundane or just a necessary part of life. Okay, so first we're going to start with definition. What is a mirror? A mirror is a surface capable of reflecting. That's also in our title. I don't know if y'all can see that. A surface capable of reflecting sufficient undiffused light to form an image of an object placed in front of it. Okay, now that was quite a mouthful. That was a lot. So we're going to break that apart. It says a surface. Okay, now anything can be a surface. Anything can have a surface. Okay, so without certain properties, that would say that anything can be a mirror. Interesting. Let's keep going. The surface would then be capable of reflecting sufficient undiffused light. Okay, so that light would be like the bulb to the top of a table that's been oiled. Okay, that would create a mirror-like effect because the light is undiffused straight from the source to the surface, okay? Not pass through a prism. In order to form an image of an object placed in front of it. So essentially, without the undiffused light or the illumination, the reflection would be unable to appear. Okay? So the object could be sitting right there in front of its face or in front of the surface, but the surface won't even acknowledge the object without illumination. That is definition number one. So definition number two says something that faithfully reflects, there's that word again, or gives a true picture of something else. Something that faithfully reflects or gives a true picture of something else. A mirror, for the third definition, is also something worthy of imitation. Okay. Again, with language, we talked about language before. So now here we are at definition number two. Something that faithfully reflects. So there's that word again. So that needs to be defined. Okay. Reflect. It is an intransitive verb. To throw or bend back light or sound, for example, from a surface. Okay. So the surface that was defined inside of mirror now has an activity. The surface must throw or bend the light in order for the image in the surface to appear. Okay. Reflect also says to give back or show an image of an object in a mirror. That is to reflect. To make apparent, to express, or to manifest is also to reflect. So, what are we getting at here? We always ask that question like every show. What are you getting at? You know what I'm saying? What are you trying to steer us towards? Spiritually, I'm trying to get the understanding that the mirror or the image that you're reflecting, because on any particular surface, not just the aluminum backed composite sand, man-made sand that we look into, everything is a surface. So if I walk up to another person, will that person reflect love? What will be the mirror image of my beingness or the object that is placed in front of the surface? These are spiritual understandings, okay? Now, getting that in our mind on mirrors and reflections is important for where we're about to go, because mirrors also have a deeper use and a deeper understanding in the way that they deal with our reality, okay? Now, how many of you have ever taken, you on the bathroom and you got like a medicine cabinet with a mirror on the front of it, and then you turn like it's a three-way, and then you turn the mirrors in on each other, and what happens is you get this effect that looks like multiple cascades of the same image going further and further and further into the mirror through multiple mirrors, okay? In order to understand what's going on here, you have to take the word reflect, or the reflection that's happening in the mirror, over and over and over and over again. Because a mirror is a tool utilized to go into an alternate dimension. Now, why do I say that it is utilized to enter or express itself into an alternate dimension? The mirrors that we have now today, and this is something that you have to understand, because since when did it become a requirement for every single home to carry mirrors in the bathroom, or for homes to carry mirrors all over the place? When did that become a requirement? Because now there's not very many homes you can go into that aren't covered in mirrors. Okay. So mirrors, especially multiple mirrors reflecting off of one another, create dimensions, pockets of dimensions. that can be reflected into without the person even understanding that they're reflecting. Okay. Now, there's a realm that we use a lot as, as beings on this earth, and as one of the, they like to call them sins that we have, but I don't think it as such. I think it's just a different understanding on something that we're supposed to utilize or we're not supposed to have very much knowledge on. And that subject is vanity. Okay. Vanity in itself, we can look up the definition and then go spiritual. Let's see. No, not Vanity Fair. Okay. So vanity, the first definition says excessive pride in one's appearance or accomplishments. Conceit or conceited, something about which one is vain or conceited. Okay. Worthlessness, pointlessness, or futility. That's the ultimate demise. So a vanity is also a dresser or a table that one would sit at to do makeup in front of a what? Mirror, which means you're doing what? Reflecting. Okay. So you're reflecting into this dimensional pocket while sitting in front of the mirror, your flaws. Think about the last definition of vanity. Let me read that again. Worthlessness, pointlessness, or futility. Why do people stand in front of mirrors? I don't like this about myself. I don't like this about myself. This is ugly. This doesn't look good. You know what? I'm going to enhance. So you go use the mirror. This is one example. Vanity expresses itself from an alternate dimension, which means that we have to reflect our woes into that surface in order to create the ideology of vanity. Now, where am I going with all this? Where am I going with all this? What we're misunderstanding, I feel, as a group, is that we're reflecting on the entire world. Every surface is representative of some aspect of who we are genetically, spiritually, mentally, physically. The entire landscape is our mirror. The vanity that we have expressed into this world is circling itself back onto us in negative and harmful ways. Now we look out into this world and we see the world one way. Then when it's expressed to us, now we begin to see the world as it truly is. So that changes the perspective. But the world is a stage and the stage is a mirror. So by using these mirrors and by understanding that these mirrors have consumed their way into our life, look at your cell phone. Let me turn this off because we all doing this. You know what I'm saying? We don't understand. Look at this. This is what you see. Look at your television. You turn your TV off. We talked about this before. You turn your TV off. It's a black screen. Look at this cell phone. It's a black screen. Turn off your computer, your tablet, whatever type of electronic device you have, turn it off and look at it. What is it? It's a black screen. Now, inside of this black screen, there are cameras and there's the reflection of whatever object is put in front of it by refracting or bending the light around the object, okay? Now, what do we have? What do we use this for? What is the primary function of why people have these? Is it not to connect to others using what? Social media, pictures, video of your life, your whereabouts, what you're doing, who you're doing it with. This is what we're always using it for. So therefore, that means vanity, what was that definition again? Let's go look at it. Let's look at the definition again so it'll make sense. Worthlessness, pointlessness, or futility has seeded its way into our natural life. Vanity. Without vanity, masking what's really going on with us in our world and in our kingdom, then we begin to see what's really happening to our people. But with vanity, we can remain distracted. Everybody's reaching for something that is vain. Why do you post pictures? Why do you put yourself out there for everybody to see? Why do you do that? Everybody's not a model. Everybody can't do the same exact thing, or else there would be no variation of the people. We all just be one hive mind doing all the same activities. But we know we don't all have the same interests. So why do we do these type of things? Since when has this become a thing? Because the people who are just a generation behind us and older, they don't even know how to work this. So that means that vanity hadn't seeded its way into their households and livelihood. Okay? We have to break these things apart because we got to understand what we're dealing with. Mirror pocket dimensions, okay, have based themselves in our reality. Using mirrors that reflect what's really going on inside of the being. Now, as a mirror reflects, it creates. As we look at ourselves in a mirror, how many of you look yourself directly in the eye when you look in a mirror? How many of you are aware that when you're looking through a mirror, that reflection is not you? Does it make sense? That reflection is not who you are. You understand? Turn your back to the mirror and try to look in it. Do you know what's there? How do you know that reflection you just turned away from is not still looking straight ahead at you? You don't know. What is comprised of a dimension? Let's go look. Let's see. Alternate, or matter of fact, I'll go back on that and I'll look this up. We'll go mirror dimensions. Let's look into that. Let's see. No, let's get it. Is the mirror dimension real? Okay. Okay. Okay, listen to this. Okay, this is an NBC article under their MACH, M-A-C-H. It's NBCnews.com, and this is under the science section. Okay, so this is an article that they put out. So you know that this is somewhat verified. You know the information is kind of verified because if you know the audience that gravitates towards a certain company or a certain group, then you know what type of information they're going to put out to suffice towards that audience. So this is more of a upper mainstream audience, that would be into the ABC information, NBC, and they'll go, they'll dig deeper into those companies. So they put out a newsletter or a news article, and the title says, "Scientists are searching for a mirror universe." Okay, a mirror universe. It could be sitting right in front of you. In the mirror, if the mirrorverse exists, upcoming experiments involving subatomic particles could reveal it to be true. A mirrorverse could be just as real as our own universe, but almost completely cut from it, which means that you'll be looking into an alternate dimension and you won't even know that you're looking at something that's not you. Only that, this is going ahead a little bit, but we'll get there too. Only that another being has taken the form of you and is showing you the image that you expect to see in order to gain access to the psyche. What do they say the eyes are the mirrors of? Eyes are the windows of the, you understand what I'm saying? Because a mirror also, a window also gives you a reflection. If the light hits the mirror just right, you can see yourself in a window pane. So therefore, the eyes are the windows of they also mirror the reality Okay. Now, when you understand how the science or the um, the physical components of the eyes works, it is a concave mirror. That is how your eyes work. Your lenses inside of your eyes, they're mirrors, which means they're reflecting. You understand? It's a reflection thing. The eyes are reflecting. Okay? We just read about reflection. Okay? So that means that inside of you there are mirrors, looking into mirrors to receive images. Let's continue. Now, this was done June 30th of 2019. It was added in at 5:15 a.m. and it was done by Corey S. Powell, in case you want to go look it up and read it for yourself later or whatever. So at Oak Ridge National Laboratory in eastern Tennessee, a physicist by the name of Leah Broussard is trying to open a portal to a parallel universe. Listen, she calls it an oscillation that would lead her to mirror matter. But the idea is fundamentally the same. In a series of experiments she plans to run at Oak Ridge this summer, Broussard will send a beam of subatomic particles down a 50-foot tunnel, past a powerful magnet, and into an impenetrable wall. If the setup is just right, and if the universe cooperates, some of those particles will transform into mirror image versions of themselves, allowing them to tunnel right through the wall. And if that happens, Broussard will have uncovered the first evidence of a mirror world right alongside our own. Okay? Now, Broussard says that it's pretty wacky, and this is how she describes her mind-bending exploration. The mirror world, assuming it exists, would have its own laws of mirror physics and its own mirror history. You wouldn't find a mirror version of yourself there. Think about this. You would not find a mirror version of yourself there. So who are you looking at when you're looking in the mirror? And no evil Spock with a goatee. So they're saying you won't find like an evil you on the other side of the mirrorverse. But current theory allows that you might find mirror atoms and mirror rocks, maybe even mirror planets and stars. Collectively, they could form an entire shadow world just as real as our own, but almost completely cut off from us. Subatomic particles. This is what you're using to carve into a world that is running right alongside of us, and the way we access it is by looking in a mirror. We're looking into a different dimension. So when you look into that dimension, you're also projecting into that dimension. And if you're feeling the effects of vanity, are you projecting positive radiation or positive emission into an alternate dimension that is supposed to reflect back into you? What are you pulling up out of that dimension? Now, we have to go away from what's inside of our homes and everywhere we look, because mirrors are all over us. They're surrounding us. Why? Are there frequencies being projected to us through certain mirrors? Let's look at our TV. Okay? Let me see here. Now, let's go into what we call, or what I call, a scrying mirror. Now, we talked about this a little bit, you know what I'm saying, a little bit before with the Snow White reference. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? Then a face appeared from the blackness. Now, you can look up a scrying mirror for yourself, but I'm going to briefly read somewhat of a description of how they're used, and this is from ancient times. So the original scrying mirrors would have been made out of a mineral or stone, like obsidian or jet, tourmaline, okay? Their use was used to call into alternate dimensions. This is where you get the Snow White reference of having that face come up out of the darkness. That is another dimension. That is a being that she's speaking to. Okay? These things hold true to this day. The projection. Now you got to understand, because these things can be manipulated. We're living in a mirror fantasy. Okay? What we see, what we think we're looking at is what's projected out, and then the surface reflects back to us the illusion. So have you ever wanted to see the future or speak with someone who has passed away? Using a scrying mirror is one potential way to do it. What is a scrying mirror and how does it work? A scrying mirror or black mirror is a surface used for divination. You focus on a particular intention. Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the fairest of them all? That is an intention. And stare into the mirror, and that is an intention in the form of soliloquy. So song, vibrational song frequency enhances the power of the mirror. That's a whole nother conversation. You focus on a particular intention and stare into the mirror, and you might get visions related to your query. What did they say about, what did they used to tell us about Bloody Mary? When we used to do that, you had to do what? Go in the bathroom, turn off all the lights, look in the mirror, and you had to do this to pull this from another dimension. What about Candyman? These things they show us from a whole nother dimension, they come through the mirror. You understand? Then we go over here and we look at what? The Exorcist or Poltergeist. Where did they come from? Out of the TV. This stuff was coming out of the TV. Okay, so it was being projected into your consciousness through this mirror dimension. Okay? Mirrors are very important to understand. Right now, the mirrors that we use are all made of man-made silicates. It used to be made of natural glass or sand. Then through a heat treatment, the sand would turn and form into glass. Now you have man-made sand, so it's artificial sand technology that is then melted down and utilized to construct what we call a mirror now, but it has to be backed by silver, a silver lining. Otherwise, it will distort the image or show you what's really there. Okay? Now, what is a scrying mirror? Scrying or seeing, listen to that. Scrying, which is also known as seeing, S-E-E-I-N-G. Seeing, what are you seeing into? Is a type of divination. In fact, scrying comes from a Middle English word that means to divine. One of the earliest types of scrying that was done is water scrying. People would look into the water and see their reflection, where a person looked into the surface of the water to get some kind of image or meaning. Over time, this has evolved into using crystal balls, a mirror dimension, and mirrors for a similar purpose. A scrying mirror, also called a black mirror, is a shiny black surface used for divining. Lucky for you, it's one of the easier divination tools that you can make by yourself. It is not very difficult to learn than any other methods of divination. Okay, it's easy to use. A scrying mirror is easy to use. Once you learn how to give the right intention, then it's easy for you to go into a trance-like state and phase into the pocket dimension. So in the past, scrying mirrors were made by polishing metals like brass or copper, a surface, or putting aluminum foil or mercury behind a piece of glass. Once you put the aluminum foil or mercury coating behind a piece of glass, the glass itself now becomes a divination surface. Nowadays, polished obsidian is one of the more popular materials used for commercially available scrying mirror. Some people say that the older mirrors will work better than newer ones. Isn't that always the case? which can benefit you if you're making your own. The size of the mirror doesn't matter, and any shape or size can work, but any shape or size will also be used as a tool to magnify the effects of the scrying mirror or diminish the effects of the scrying mirror, okay? Or send the effects of the scrying mirror on a totally opposite path than what the requester had in mind, okay? We have to understand what is going on around us. It's going to take time, but we're going to get there, because there's a lot going on. Now, when you're pulling the older scrying mirrors and saying that those older scrying mirrors will work more efficiently, here's why. You're using minerals that come out of the earth: tourmaline, jet, obsidian, onyx. When you're using these type of minerals, you have to understand what these minerals are. These minerals are hardened carbon or melanin of the earth in a solid form. Oil is a liquid form. Smoke is a gas form. Okay, so we have to understand that there's three forms. So the solid are the crystals that are being mined: coal, obsidian, jet, onyx, tourmaline. This is the melanin of the planet. So naturally, taking the melanin from the planet and creating a mirror to enter into an alternate dimension, man, look at how deep it just got. Look at how deep that just got. You understand? We are the only people that make it our mission to be disconnected from what's going on in the world around us. We make it our mission to be disconnected. And this world gets very complex very fast if you know what you're looking at. Okay? So that gives you how to make one. Okay. So now this goes to how to use your scrying mirror. You see? Now look at this. I want to point something out, because other nations are in control of this information. We're not actively, there are some of us, that are picking up the wavelength, and it's continuing to increase and increase, which is a blessing. But for the most part, it's the other nations. How many of y'all went to high school and saw the Gothic crowd? Most of the time, you saw maybe one or two of our people in there with them, but it was mostly the other nations. You know what I'm saying? Because they grew up privy to understanding what this is about. Not, oh, that's witchcraft. You burn at the stake and all this other kind of stuff that we were learning, which kept us away from even wanting to understand what was going on over there. Most of the time I went to church, they was telling me how everybody else was bad and we was the only ones that was good. How? You ain't even studied with them. How you gonna call them bad and you ain't even studied with them? That's ignorant. How you calling somebody else bad and you have no idea how they live in their life? You ain't even walked in their shoes one day, but they bad and you good and you got all the information and they don't have nothing. That's weird. You know what I'm saying? So this is what we've been taught to do, to reject things before we actually take the time to learn what is going on with our people in our community, to learn where these people are getting these information from, because the truth is always stranger than fiction. When the truth come out, don't nobody want to understand how that can be the truth. But when it's sitting right in front of your face, how can you deny what's going on with you? You have to know. We don't know. That's why we don't produce. As a community, as a people, as a nation, we're not producing because we don't know. You see? There's blessings that come from knowing your true history. There's blessings that come from knowing who your ancestors are. There's blessings that know that your people are the darkness. Where these magical talismans and different understandings are coming from. Your people are made composite of the darkness, of the multiverse. You leave this earth atmosphere, it gets black, according to what we're shown over and over and over and over and over. So you leave the atmospheric plane, there's blackness. It's melanin. Now, getting comfortable with using your scrying mirror will probably take some time and practice. Listen to how they put this. If you're either naturally gifted or you've done other types of divination or a lot of meditation, the skill may come more quickly to you. Those things are all spiritual. Your gifts comes from the spirit realm. Done other types of divination is practicing in the spirit. Meditation, spiritual. Then the skill may come more quickly to you. Let's read on. But before you start using your mirror, or before you start using your melanin, let's put it in the right place, because the melanin is giving you access to the alternate dimension. Okay, you got to understand where we're going. The melanin is the mirror. Now look, let's keep going. You'll want to cleanse it and charge it up, especially if you're buying a scrying mirror from someone else, or it's a brand new mirror that's never been used before. You'll want to get rid of any old and potentially negative energies that have become attached to the object. Where would they come from? Then you'll want to bless it to add positive energies to it. Now listen, because what you're using is a portal. What you're using is an opening into a dimensional gateway. It's a portal. So you want to bless your portal and cleanse your portal, because there could be negative energies that are hanging around on the other side of the dimensional gate. So you want to make sure you push those away before you use. Now, mind you, now I told you who they wrote this for. They didn't write this for us. The information just happened to be there, but they didn't write this for us. Not to propel us back home. They didn't write this for us. So who they writing it for? Who needs to take such precaution before entering the spiritual space? It's about time we knew what was going on here. Depending on your particular tradition, there are a variety of different banishing rituals. Who you banishing? What are you banishing? Now, I just told you that the ancestors of the melanin is in the darkness. The ancestral realm of the melanin is in the darkness. And when one finds their way home, the angels rejoice. Because we live in a matrix. The angels exist in the darkness. They're on high. They're out there in the darkness. They're in the melanin. So there's a variety of different banishing rituals that one can use for this. I'd recommend using whatever feels more comfortable to you. And if you don't have a ritual or your own, you can simply look some up and see which one speaks to you. So one of the simplest ways to cleanse and charge your mirror is to simply leave it in the light of a full moon overnight. Amazing. All that you need to scry is your mirror, but you can make the process as elaborate or simple as you like. If you have an altar and want to make a whole ritual out of it, feel free. You can cast a magic circle or whatever makes you feel most comfortable. Who you teaching? Who you teaching? This is NBC article. I apologize. It's not an NBC article. This is spiritualgreatness.com. But who are you teaching towards? Okay? Because this is not predicated to my people. You got to understand the flow of information. See, certain books are being destroyed now. Certain histories are being destroyed now because our people are coming into the knowledge of those histories, which lets you know that they did not originally write that for your eyes to see it. That's why it needs to be destroyed. Thus, you figure out who you are and what's really going on here, and you wake up again. You see, it's not made for you, but it's here because this is how they communicate as well. The other nations communicate, but it's not intended for you to come find it. That's why I say share this, man. Like this, share this, subscribe to it, but share it with your people. I'm talking about the bottom of the bottom. Like, y'all come listen to this because this is all, it's affecting us all. And you telling me simply because of pigmentation or melanistic principle that I didn't ask for. I didn't even know I got till I realized I had it. That's the reason. It's deeper than that. It's always deeper than that. The melanin always wins. Look at nature. Leave that building alone. You feel me? I left my house for what, 3 days, 4 days? And it was bugs already trying to come out because the house was still. There was no movement or activity. So therefore, the coast is clear. Things start appearing and coming out that's been hiding. This is what the melanin brings us forward. Leave it alone and watch what happens. Leave our people alone with no interference from any outside nation. No Mexicans coming living in the lowest of our neighborhood so they can have somewhere to group together until they blast off and take over our entire kingdom. No more of that. No more white people coming to us, pushing off our properties, buying it for dirt cheap and then turn around selling it at maximum price. No more Indians coming to the corners and buying up all the corner stores and then selling us everything at maximum price, making us pay everything at maximum price. Leave us alone and watch what we do. Watch what the melanin do. We begin to heal. The melanin will heal itself. Leave it alone. The mirror will fix itself. The dimension will heal itself. And what will then begin to start emitting itself from that dimensional frequency that has been healed? You see, now your warriors start coming back online. You understand? Because you're no longer disconnected from the truth of the opposite end of the spectrum. You're looking through the scrying mirror and you see your ancestors on the other side. You understand? You see, you got to remember now, back in the 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, there were so many reports of other nations, they couldn't sleep. In their dreams, they were being haunted by shadow figures. All throughout the Midwest of the country, all in the South. Who do you think they were seeing? Was it ghosts and ghouls? No. The melanin didn't say they was having nightmares and this, that, and the third. That's not what was happening. The melanin wasn't speaking that. You understand? So who were they seeing? Now we got to go deeper. There's power in the darkness. I'm just being honest with you. Remember we talked about positive versus negative, right? Mm-hmm. They tell us that the darkness is bad, maybe because it has positive results for our people. We spend our whole lives avoiding the darkness. You don't understand. We're always running towards an illumination to be illuminated by somebody. But the more you're illuminated in this system, the further you are away from your melanistic principle. They're only selling you. They're only ever selling you. That's it. It can't, you can't go past the supreme. You can't elevate past the supreme. It's impossible. So they can only replicate and sell you what you've already given to the world or contributed to the world anyway. This is why it's important to understand who you are. Some people get offended, but you're only offended because it's true. The truth hurts. That's what they tell us. The truth hurts. So it don't feel good. You know what I'm saying? But for my people, truths need to be revealed. We need a headway. You understand what I'm saying? We need to gain a headway so we see exactly where we're going. And there are too many that seem to be standing opposed to us gaining a headway. It's crazy because every other nation has a headway. They know where they want to take their people and their agendas they have for their country and their group that's going on. Why can't we have a headway? Why can't we get a clear, concise understanding of what's happened, what's going on, and where we're headed as a people? Why is that such a non-reality? You have to ask these questions, so that the mirror can reflect the answer. Your ancestors are standing on the other side of that portal, that dimension. They're there. So what other nations deem negative is not negative for you. It is only the repayment of what has been done to people that happened before. this clear for ourselves. And we want to definitely make this clear so that people can, gain what is necessary. I had some say they can't hear me on YouTube, so I just turned it up. So hopefully that's better. All right, so we want to make sure that this entire point goes across, because what I'm getting at here is that mirrors are made of minerals, some false, some man-made, and then put together and projected into our world, our kingdom. Our cars have glass, window panes. We have mirrors on the inside of our home. We got full-length mirrors when we go out in public. We go in the bathroom, there's a mirror. There's a mirror, there's a camera with a mirror in it. There's mirrors, there's telescopes, there's all this stuff. Mirrors reflecting all over the place. Okay? And they're everywhere. TVs, all over. We have them everywhere. Computers, they're everywhere. Our world is filled with multi-dimensional reality. Okay? And to understand where we're headed, especially dealing with this new age digital reality that's coming online, you have to understand how the play of mirrors affect the world that you're looking at. What is being refracted to you through the mirror? When you look in a mirror and you see yourself, do you look yourself in the eye? Are you able to? Because if you're not able to hold a gaze with yourself in the eye, then you're not looking at your reflection. If you're looking yourself in the eye in a mirror and you get uncomfortable, you're not looking at you. We need to know this. We need to understand these things. They're important to know. Extremely important to know. Our people are supposed to be a people of depth. We are supposed to naturally be a people of depth. This is our birthright. This is our birthright. From the streets all the way up the executive board, this is our birthright. The ones that know have all the wealth. Ain't you paid attention? Look, they hoard the information. We don't get to know what's going on behind the scenes because the ones that know keep all the wealth. They keep all the money. And see, it's impossible to believe or understand that at one point it was only your people who knew. Because we had access to spiritual dimensions others couldn't tap into. We knew. So we produced. We had to produce the Mayan calendar. We had to produce the cotton gin. We had to produce the factories, the assembly line, the light bulb, currency, living, a social status, houses, boats, laws, politics. We had to create because we were the only ones who knew. We were the only ones who could access the mirror dimension. You know your pineal gland is a mirror? This is really important. More I sit here and think about it now, I can't wait to go back and listen to this so I can go deeper and study and go off in a whole nother, because it's important. Like we're doing this stuff to ourselves and we don't understand because we forgot to understand how we're composed, how we're comprised, what we're made of. And when we lose that type of understanding or that knowledge of what you're made of, then how can you can't navigate this world. You're going to depend on other people to tell you who you are and what you're made of, because you don't know. You forgot. You forgot. So the spirit base is going to put certain markers in your way so you cross your path, especially for those that are supposed to be a part of the 13% that are going to implement change. Certain markers are going to be left in your way, and you're going to stumble upon this. Then you're going to go over here and stumble upon that. And those things are going to begin to mirror or fashion a dimensional reality based on what you're ingesting and putting into your mind's eye. It is a mirror. It's a mirror. So if you're ingesting negative frequencies all the time, or frequencies meant to cause destruction all the time, what type of reality are you creating? We're going to talk about law of attraction, all this. What type of reality are you creating? A toxic, pH unbalanced reality that you can't seem to get out of. It's so low vibrational. The wavelength is moving so slow that it seems like we've been stuck in this rut for an eternity. So it says here that using a scrying mirror is best done in low lighting conditions. You can either use candles on either side of the mirror in a dark room or use a dim light. Why? Because the scrying mirror pulls in the light to give the image. It pulls in the light. What do we know? Okay. In our known reality, let's use scientific understanding of our solar system, if we want to just do it like that. What do we know that swallows the light? Okay. These are called black holes. Black holes swallow light. Black holes are always in a circular design. Would a black hole be a scrying mirror? It's a portal to another dimension. It is devoid of light, so therefore a light source has to be given to it in order for it to broadcast an alternate reality. Now let's go even further. In previous shows, we talked about the 0 point and how our spatial understanding of the reality of the universe and the multiverses is coming into a 0 point where time is speeding up, things are speeding up, things are changing rapidly. And once you cross the threshold of the 0 point, now the reality has to expand again. That 0 point is a black hole. The 0 point consumes the light. So inside of the melanistic principle, those that have been activated, I'll say, are going to be consumed of the black hole. What does that mean? As you're going along your spiritual journey, it's going to feel as though nothing is coming together. Everything is against you. Your world is so heavy. Your world is this, that. It's not rainbows and sunshine to be on this path. It is a lot of dissensions, multiple calamity in succession of each other, and you feel like your world is just falling apart. Well, it is. You've gone through a 0 point or a black hole. The light that you are has been consumed of the black hole to project you into an alternate reality or a different dimension while existing in your physical body at the same time. Most times we have to pass away to fall into that black hole and project ourselves into a new digital or a new reality. Okay. Now, if you want to go digitally, that's why the spirit just put that out there. If you want to go digitally, you have beings creating a false reality of what's supposed to be happening internally to give you the outward projection or injection from a false dimension into the mind's eye in order to alternate where this ends up, where the light goes. Where's the light going? It's important. Because if the light finds its way back to the ancestral realm, guess what the light is going to do? It's going to be transformed of the angels. What is it going to come back like? Because remember now, these processes are happening as we sleep, as we walk around awake. These processes are happening to our children in light speed. So you're taking your physical body with you on the journey of ascension or descension or evolution, if you want to call it that. Mirrors. Perspective. How are you looking outwardly at the world? How is the world looking at you? Mirror. Who do you see when you're standing in front of that thing? Do you see somebody? Do you see your beauty? Be honest with yourself. When you look in that thing, do you see your beauty? Do you see your illumination? Or do you see everything that's wrong? Is that why a lot of women pile so much makeup on? Do they see everything that's wrong? Is that all that they're looking at? Everything that's wrong? Everything that's wrong based on whose decision? Who said something is wrong? Who's telling you that? Don't you know that when you fall into the realm of vanity, then you cut yourself off from where you're supposed to be going? Because it's not even about the physical body. That's not what a mirror is for. But we don't understand that. So we pull these frequencies into ourselves by reflecting them into a reflective device. So it's gonna give you back what you see. And there you go. Putting on, there's nothing wrong. Like I'm saying, like people use this stuff for beauty, but we know those ones. They refuse to be seen without it. What you hiding? What is the mirror telling you? What are you telling the mirror? I'm fat, I'm this, I'm that. What are you projecting? You know what I'm saying? Because it's important. Those dimensions they open somewhere. They have to be released somewhere. Now, listen to this. One person can come along and project their negative aspect into a mirror, okay? Now, they're talking down on themselves. They putting themselves down. They're even if they're not saying anything, they're looking into the mirror with these thoughts and images in their mind's eye. So you're still projecting. And then they baby girl come along after they come out the restroom, and the baby girl come along, and then she gets in the mirror. What is she absorbing? Well, mommy just left behind. You understand? We're so unlearned on things that will take us to the ultimate level so that we'll be intentional in our every move in life. It will have some type of intention, something to be the forefront. God will be, what they say, put God out in front of you. Now you walking your path, something to be the forefront. Every situation I'm looking into this thing, dang man, you know what I'm saying? Man, I thank God I'm blessed. My skin look good. I'm this, that, and the third, XYZ. Thank you, God. Walk away. Now the next person come in there. Oh man, I'm glowing today. Uh-oh. You see what I'm saying? Because we only can do this to ourselves. The situations we go through is how we are viewing ourselves. It's a mirror image. What do you need self-love for? You don't need to broadcast that. Why do you need to broadcast that as if it's missing? You are the only self that you're able to know. Why do you have to broadcast self-love? It don't make no sense. You can't know any other self. Try to know another self outside of the self you know now. Try to know another self. You can't do it. There's no other self that you know. So why do you need self-love? You know, we're doing our thing. We get into it. I done ran a whole hour, man. I want to talk about the book some too. I tend to do that. I tend to run over. See, that's when you know. That's when you know it's real. It's time. We're doing the action. For all the naysayers out there and people have so much to say, we're doing it. Because the physical doesn't matter without the spirit. And if the spirit is compromised, then where's your physical body going? Where it's being led? It's only going where it's being led. Your soul is compromised. You've shut it off. Somebody's convinced you to turn it off. So where's your body going? It's only going where it's being led by somebody else. Even when you think you're in control. There's a movie came out about that. It's going where it's being led. Simply because there's no resistance. You see? Mirrors. Everywhere. You get in the car, rear view mirror. A side view mirror. What else? Glass everywhere. What that mean? Your car is shiny, has a shiny surface. What is that? A mirror. So somebody gonna look in your car, man, you got that mirror finish on your car, man. I can see my reflection in that thing, man. That thing clean. What about when you can't see your reflection? I don't know about that one. Unless it's matte. If it's matte black, then it's, but you want to be able to see your reflection in the surface. Why? Vanity. It's vanity. Things we channel things the most powerful because we have the melanin. We're holding the melanistic centers. So when it comes down to murdering your own kind, this is not our original way. That's not our original way. But because we're projecting through our internal mirrors this image that we've been taken on from another nation, now guess what is reality? You see? Your people are dying out. Huh? Your people are dying out. Then we believe that. Guess what the mirror is going to reflect? You see? Now life is not longevity for us no more, right? We're not supposed to live long lives. We got people passing away 120, 130, 140. What? Why is all these young people just dropping? What's going on? Where is their frequency? Because that's the only reason you pass away is frequency. And you know that. It's the frequency. The frequency of the person is what commits them to leaving the earth. If the frequency is high vibrational, you understand? If the frequency is a high vibration, even if the person passes the threshold, they still will continue to live. Everybody that was around that person will continue to keep them alive. You understand? But the low vibrations can't handle the shifts and the upgrades. You can't. You won't survive the test of time. The low vibrations are everywhere now, and they don't even know that they're low. Or if they do know that they're low, then what? Like seeks like, or misery loves company, or all of these different things start to become the reality that we live in. Now ain't nobody positive. I can only attract you. We trauma bonding, all of that kind of stuff. That stuff leads to death. It's stressful. It's a negative frequency. It is the opposite of the polarity of where the melanin is trying to go. There's such a conflict inside of some people that their body can't handle the energy that's being put off from the conflict. In order for you to rise or raise your carbon, you have to battle the way this world has taught you to exist. A lot don't win the battle. You see, this is why we're always so focused on attaching ourselves to other people's reality, because we think it works, not realizing that they got their reality from you. I will always continue to say that. They got their reality from you. And if you won't believe me, if you want to battle, you want to talk about it, just hit me up. We about to bring these people up in here. We're going to start discussing these things. The reality of the world is our culture. The entire world. Now you go back far enough in the history and you'll see what I see. You'll understand what I'm saying. All these people getting their DNA tested by Ancestry.com, all this other kind of stuff. Tell me why nobody's being representative of America. America is the only place where there are no representation for nobody. Isn't that strange? Nobody came from here. Isn't that strange? People came from Africa. Some came from Europe, Bangladesh, Middle East, all this other type of stuff, South America. Nobody came from North America? Nobody? Amazing. Nobody's ancestry belongs to this place, huh? Not even the ones you call Native Americans with the Asian people with the long hair. Not even them. Right, because they'll be telling a lie. They wouldn't dare put them people on there because that's a lie. They don't come from here. Those people are Asian. They're Mongolian. They're Asiatic. So nobody comes from here? Yet, when we go try to find these little tribes that y'all put on our Ancestry.com list, them same Africans will tell us that we are not the same people. We're not the same people. We're not the same. We're a different group of melanistic principle. And we come from right here. We don't understand what these people are doing to our world. The entire world is stripping America blind. That is why they don't want Trump back in office. This is why they threatening to lock this man up and making him, we're going to arrest him and do all this other kind of crazy mess because he knows what's going on. He's a businessman. It's better business to keep the people that spend the most money at the top of the principle. The people with the most money need to be absolved of what happened. They need to understand what happened. We need to go ahead and pay it and get it off our back and move forward. But no, you can't expose that. You want to know why? Because what would the world be like if 50 million African American black people realized that they are the original Aborigines on this land? I'm talking about before a Mexican called himself what he is today. A Mexam was us. Maya was us. Azteca, Inca, that was us. That's before any Columbus, any Ferdinand Magellan, any Hernandez de Soto, Cortez. That's before any of these people found their way over here to create genocide on our people. Before any of them, before any African came to America to absolve themselves into our politics in order to create a system of destruction around our people. Before any of them came along, we were already here. And until we realize that, and we realize what has happened inside of our dimension, we will always be victims of this game, and we will never be able to release ourselves. Never. So all the naysayers out there that say, this did so much for me and this, that, and the third, you ignorant and you don't understand. You don't get it. You can keep reaching for them other nations all you want to, but they ain't got nothing for you. It's only collecting what you create. You don't understand that still, even after dealing with Christianity for all this time. And before Christianity, our forefathers had to deal with slavery and all this other type of stuff. This is all, it just changes form. That's all it is. You joining the what do we do in college? We join fraternities and sororities and we do all this stuff. And we don't understand that stuff is built around melanistic principle, the bastardization of the American melanistic principle. We're the creators. And we've given it away. We've given that birthright, that power away. We're giving it away. So now those people are insignificant. You can destroy them now. They're so ignorant They don't even know. Look what we're broadcasting to the world. Look how we broadcast ourselves to the world. Where the avenues of intelligence or righteousness or upliftment, those things get suppressed and pushed to the bottom. You know? But the avenues of ignorance and bloodshed and violence and this, that, and third, when it comes to our people, those things reach the mainstream perspective. The news always has, oh man, this happened to this happened over here, this negative, this bad, this bad. Look at these people, they're bad, they're bad, they're bad. This is what the world see, and this is what we accept. So now it's cool to be evil. Isn't that crazy? It's cool to be evil to your own people. It's cool. That's the new way, being evil towards your own brothers and sisters. You know, man, I don't care who I hit, man. I'm going to hit woman, child. It don't even matter, man. I'm just going to let that thing fly. Yeah, because you scared. You scared. Now, put that thing down and go face all them same people, woman, child, everybody, and put up your fist. You ain't finna do that. You scared. It's a new day, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's high time we realize that. I'm sorry I didn't get into the book, y'all. I took off. You know what I'm saying? But we'll get into the book. We'll continue reading from the book, because that book is also very important. But learning to navigate these dimensional pathways, being able to take a backwards dimension, disappear for a while, and then you pop out again through another dimension. You understand? This stuff is important. It's important to begin to understand what's on the other side of the veil, and not just doing parties and things like that in this one. You know, partying all the time. That's all we do, is party all the time. You know what I mean? Nothing wrong with it. Is good vibes, good energy, but how come that's all we doing? You know? Who's running for mayor that looks like me? I would love to know that. Where do they have meetings? I don't see very much of that being broadcast to my people. Where do these people hold their meetings? How are they going to help my people going forward into this new dynamic that we have, where we're creating smart cities, cities that are built based on the internet? In certain places all over the country, it's already happening. They're putting up Tesla ports and charging stations, and all this stuff is happening right under our nose. Go right down the street to the corner store, you know what I'm saying, in the hood, Bitcoin machines. Like, where are the classes that's teaching our people how to integrate into that reality, since that's going to be a thing for everybody else? You see, it's important. We have to begin to upgrade what we are, because the upgrades are all around us. It's simply a mirror. Okay? A mirror. So I hope y'all take that. I hope it helps somebody. You know what I mean? And we're going to continue to keep pressing forward. I had no idea what I was going to talk about. I like to be transparent. You know what I'm saying? In the beginning, we give it to the Most High. We give it to the spirit realm, and then let whatever may come forward, just let it come forward. You know what I'm saying? We let it come, because that's the best way to heal. Give us what we need, not what we think we want. You know what I mean? And let's keep moving forward. But anyway, I'm your man, Luke 1817, man. I appreciate everybody that tuned in tonight. You know, we're going to continue keeping this going. And next week, hopefully everybody will be a little bit more coordinated, so we can go ahead and have our panel. You know, our first one of many. You know what I'm saying? So I look forward to that. I feel like I got some interesting people lined up to, you know, come join us. You know what I mean? And yeah, we're going to just keep moving. All right. So it's good to be back one more time. I'm going to go ahead and sign out for now. Y'all have a good evening, a good Monday. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week. And yeah, just remember, keep the melanin first. Let the melanin guide, because that's what it's there for. It's a tool. know what I'm saying? So learn how to use it. Melanistic principle. All right, I'm out. Peace.